Namaskar, welcome to the channel. Today, for a change, we'll be talking about a book. This book is a political thriller, and not only a political thriller, this has elements of a crime, politics, and juxtaposed with the politics of the 1970s when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of the country. She was fighting the war against Bangladesh. It had just begun, and at that time a scandal had shook the nation, and it was such a big scandal that in those days it reams of paper was published on it. All the newspapers, magazines, everything, all newspapers, media houses covered it in details, and it became the scam of the nation at that particular time. This book is by Prakash Patra and Rashid Kidwai, The Scam That Shook a Nation, the Nagarwala scandal. All the old timers, those people in their, people who have seen Indira Gandhi functioning and people who remember history, they must have read about this particular episode of crime and politics of the 70s and how it affected the popularity of Indira Gandhi to some extent, because in a sense that there was a section of people who believed that perhaps what the reality which actually happened, the crime which took place, how 60 lakh rupees was taken away from State Bank of India, Parliament Street in the name of Indira Gandhi, how it was linked to Mrs. Gandhi perhaps. It could be a fiction, but there are several gray areas, and a lot of issues have not yet been thrashed. Despite an inquiry commission, there are several areas which remains to be explored, and this book has tried to explore those particular areas. First, I will tell you about the author, Mr. Prakash Patra. He has been a very senior journalist. He used to work with Hindustan Times, where I used to work for some time. In fact, for 12 years I worked there. He was there for a long time. He used to cover, he was in charge of all the states of the country, and he used to look after the news flow from the country, from different state capitals. And also Mr. Rashid Kidwai, he used to cover Congress. I also covered Congress for a while, and he was there, and he was basically Bhopal based at that point of time. Prakash Patra and Rashid Kidwai, they make a deadly combination in the sense that both of them know politics, both of them know history, and both of them know crime well. So this book is all about politics, crime, a little bit of history, how inquiry commissions work, and a lot of things. And it has gone into all the details about that particular case, which was sort of a watershed in those times, 1970s, if you remember. Those were the days when Indira Gandhi rode to popularity after her victory in the Bangladesh war, and this episode, this Nagarwala episode, just happened before that war. And after that, a series of discontent, a series of draconian measures took place. The emergency was imposed, and Mrs. Indira Gandhi lost the election in 1977. So this book is sort of this covers the entire period and juxtaposes it with the crime. And first of all, I will read a section of the book, and you will come to know how thrilling it is. So it was like this. It was in 1971, 24th May 1971, when one Mr. Malhotra, Ved Prakash Malhotra, he was a cashier in State Bank of India, Parliament Street branch. And all of a sudden he got a phone call. The phone call said, Ki Sri Haksar, Secretary to the Prime Minister of India wants to talk to you. A voice said. And all of a sudden, what happened? Malhotra replied, put him through. And there was a pause. Then another voice came on the line, purportedly that of P.N. Haksar, the Secretary to the Prime Minister. I am Secretary to the PM speaking, within quotes. Namaste. Malhotra replied, what are your orders? I have to talk to you about a very secret matter, and if there is anyone sitting in your room, he must be asked to go, the voice at the other end said. And a person was sitting there. He was called Mathura Das. He was a respected citizen. He was an honorary magistrate in Delhi. He was asked to go out of the room. Then Mr. Haksar apparently said, whoever posed as Mr. Haksar said, the Prime Minister of India wants rupees 60 lakh to be sent for a work that is very highly secret in nature. So will send a person and you can hand over the money to him. The person at the other end told Malhotra. The chief cashier, Malhotra, asked whether the money would be handed over against a check or a receipt. Then the voice on the other phone said, it is a very urgent and secret work. That is why the PM's orders are, receipt or check will be given later, the voice replied. Still, Malhotra could not believe that this could be from the Prime Minister or an order from the Prime Minister. What he did was, after taking a pause, he said, it's a very difficult task. Then the man who claimed he was P.N. Haksar said, then talked to the Prime Minister of India, Srimati Indira Gandhi. Or a moment later, Mr. Malhotra, the cashier of the bank, heard a voice come on the line. I am the PM of India, Srimati Indira Gandhi speaking. Malhotra just couldn't believe that he was speaking to Indira Gandhi. At the other end, the voice came directly to the point, supposedly that of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. As my secretary has just now informed you, rupees 60 lakh is urgently required in Bangladesh for an important secret work. Get it ready quickly. I am sending my courier. At the place indicated by Haksar, you hand over the money to him. This was the instruction given apparently, purportedly by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, to the cashier of the State Bank, Mr. Malhotra. Malhotra was now confident that the voice on the other side was that of the Prime Minister of India. He relaxed. How will I be able to identify the person? The person, the person claiming to be Mrs. Indira Gandhi said, the person will talk to you in code words and will say, I am Bangladesh ka babu. You reply, I am bar at law. By this you will be assured that he is my courier. Thereafter, you proceed as he says. The person at the other end replied, after delivering the money, come straight to my house and you will get a receipt. Then the line went dead. Now Malhotra was sure that this was Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He had come from a refugee family from West Punjab after partition. He wanted to do something for the country. And this was the first opportunity which he got to do something for the country. This is what he felt. So immediately he asked his staff to arrange for rupees 60 lakhs. Rupees 60 lakhs was arranged in 100 rupee notes. It was kept in a huge trunk. An ambassador car of the bank was borrowed. And then after a while, it was delivered. After it was delivered to a person. Later on, when the person, Malhotra, went to Prime Minister's residence to collect the check, he realized soon after that he has been defrauded and a fraud has been committed against him. And rupees 60, because nobody in the Prime Minister's office at that point of time were aware of it. So he immediately thought that a crime has been committed, and police was contacted at the highest levels. And what happened was the police was contacted, police came, they solved the case and arrested a person called Nagarwala, who was a Parsi. Nagarwala was arrested within a few hours of committing the crime. Most of the money was recovered also. And that from then onwards began the mystery. Nagarwala was jailed. He was initially given bail. Even Malhotra was jailed for a while, for a week or so. He got bail. Nagarwala was jailed. And mysteriously, Nagarwala died soon after his incarceration in jail. He was given bail, but he did not avail of the bail because he thought he has enemies outside, he could be killed outside. This is what he confessed to people of the jail, his inmates there. In fact, the book also mentions how Nagarwala could imitate the voices of famous people, and the jail inmates, in fact, used to ask him to imitate the voice of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and he used to oblige them also while in jail. So, but there are several letters exchanged by Nagarwala to his mother, Gulbai, to his friends, which remains a mystery. When Nagarwala was killed, and apart from that, Nagarwala died because of a heart attack. This was in a hospital, in a Delhi hospital. A police officer who investigated the case, he also died mysteriously in a road accident in Uttar Pradesh. And that really triggered suspicions about the entire episode. Did something really happen? What exactly was the cause? Who was responsible? Today also, there are a lot of gray areas about it, about the case. Despite inquiry commissions, despite Morarji Desai, the then challenger to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, making serious allegations about it, the political narrative being built in the run-up to the 1977 elections. One should also remember that this episode, Nagarwala episode, the person who looted 60 lakh from the bank, State Bank, in the name of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, this sullied the image of the then Prime Minister, and the opposition used it effectively to a great extent to drag her name in this. And in the 1977 elections, this became a talking point, and Mrs. Gandhi's popularity nosedived because of several other factors. But Nagarwala episode also contributed to that. People perhaps thought that somehow down the line there was suspicion about her involvement because of the death of the main accused Nagarwala, because of the death of the chief investigating officer of the case. And still today there are so many things unsaid which the book has brought out succinctly. Mr. Patra and Rashid Kidwai have gone threadbare into all the papers, all the relevant papers available during those times, the inquiry commission reports, the key findings, how the operation was botched up. Was it a CIA operation? This episode, this chapter has also been touched in this book. I'm not going into details about the book. Let the mystery remain there. You have to read it. You have to read it to go through the entire episode. And I'm telling you, once you start reading the book, it will be a breeze. You will finish it within no time, because it's written in such an interesting manner with all anecdotes, all historical facts, and it goes into vital details of the case, everything about it. So I read the book and immediately thought that this book about Rustam Sohrab Nagarwala, who was a captain in the Indian Army and who committed this fraud, perhaps the first fraud of its kind in the country, naming the Prime Minister of the land at that point of time. This book has all the details about it, and this has just been released, and you can go through it, read it, and come to a conclusion whether who was actually responsible for that fraud of rupees 60 lakh of this to the State Bank of India. Of course, the entire money was recovered, almost the entire money except a few thousand rupees here and there. Entire money was recovered, the culprit was arrested, but everything remains a mystery. How the culprit could get arrested within such a short span of time, how the money could be recovered, everything was done. But still, there are so many gray areas, unanswered questions, that to this day, it remains a mystery. If you go through this book, you will unravel some of those mysteries and come to a conclusion yourself, how exactly things transpired then, and what exactly could be the role of Indira Gandhi, if any, in this entire episode. Thanks for watching the channel. Please go through this book, and I will wait for your comments about the book, what exactly you think about it, and the other things. We'll have another discussion with the author if possible after a while. But first, go through this book and go into the comment section also and write about that. Thank you so much for watching this.